Okay, we are recording audio.
And that was your first time doing stand-up?
It's hard to resist the tantalizing aroma and taste appeal of a sizzling hot dog.
So what was racist about the hot dog thing? I don't get it.
If you're not careful, the urge to do stand-up comedy will gnaw its way into your brain like a ravenous parasite.
The pop and sizzle of the juicy meat seems to say, "Come and get me."
It usually starts with people telling you you're funny. Then you start thinking you're funny. This is the first symptom, and while it may seem harmless, it is the beginning of the end.
Hot dogs with your favorite trimming for men and boys, girls and women.
You will experience a high fever, accompanied by wild fits of fantasy and delusion. You start asking yourself questions like, should I start a podcast? And why don't I have a Netflix special?
Right, very good, Matthew. You always say a little bit too much.
If only you had an audience. If only you had a stage. If only you had a microphone so everyone could hear all the funny things you had to say.
Why don't you try a juicy good hot dog? Mmm, delicious. Delicious.
Okay, we are recording video. This is for that time I bombed on Kill Tony. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Kill Tony is basically American Idol for stand-up comedy. At the beginning of the show, the comedians all write their names on a piece of paper and put it in a bucket. And during the show, Tony pulls a name out of the bucket, and that comedian gets up and does 60 seconds of stand-up comedy. And afterwards, there's an interview. And then lather, rinse, repeat. This is about 5 years ago? Fuck. I'd been doing stand-up comedy for about 4 months. If you're a new stand-up comic, that fantasy starts creeping in there. If you watch Kill Tony and you're a new comic, you start imagining yourself on that stage, what you would say in the interview, or how funny and charming you would be. So we get there, and it's an improv in a strip mall. We take our seats, and we order drinks, and then the show starts. So the show's starting, and everybody's on stage, and it's Tony Hinchcliffe, Brian Redband, and the band. And it's Jeremiah Watkins is the saxophone player, and Joel Jimenez is the drummer. Tony reaches into the bucket, and I don't know how I knew, but as soon as he reached into that bucket, I thought, God damn it, I'm going to be the very first person called. And sure enough.
All right, pull the name out of the bucket. Your first comedian getting an uninterrupted 60 seconds tonight goes by the name of Matthew Nova.
And already I couldn't find the stage.
No, Matthew, apply common sense. That way.
We're off to a great start.
I need boatloads of common sense from you people tonight. Yeah. Right then, Matthew was coming from that corner. He was about to go that direction. See what I mean?
It was explained at the beginning, like how to get on stage, because there's like a ramp off to the left, and it would be your instinct to go up that ramp to get onto the stage. But they said, no, don't do that. Don't go up the ramp. You have to come down and then get in the middle and then come up. But where we were sitting, I tried to go towards the middle and then immediately realized there was a barrier there. And you're just kind of standing in this room full of people, and some of them are pointing the other way and some of them are pointing a different way. So it's a little disorienting.
Here he comes. Here comes Matthew Nova, ladies and gentlemen. Pittsburgh, show him some love.
But I found it. I found the stage. This is it. What it's all been building towards. All those open mics are about to pay off.
Listen, I don't want to sound racist, but hot dogs are delicious.
I don't want to sound racist, but hot dogs are delicious.
So it was right there. I knew it wasn't going to go very good. I mean, it's a pretty terrible joke. I'm not going to lie. It's I mean, I could sit here and talk about, well, in my head, I thought it would be amusing if because you know how, like, when somebody says, well, I don't want to sound racist, but, and then they inevitably say something very racist. Well, I thought it would be amusing if I had started a sentence with, I don't want to sound racist, and then said something that couldn't possibly be taken as racist. That was my thinking behind the joke. But if you don't know that, and you just hear somebody say,
I don't want to sound racist, but hot dogs are delicious.
You're just like, what? So, I'm wearing headphones right now, watching this, and I heard a couple people laugh, but that's with headphones on. In that room, I heard no laughter. And you could see the look on my face where I'm like, this is going to be a long 60 seconds.
Now, the only thing about hot dogs is they tend to make you a little gassy. I farted in the car on the way over here, and I just realized I forgot to leave a window down, so I don't know. I'll probably just go ahead and abandon that car.
This is also like the biggest crowd I've ever performed in front of. It's a weird juxtaposition because if you perform at open mics and if you frequent a bar where there's open mics, you get to know the people a little bit, at least enough to where they'll I guess there's no other way to say it, pity laugh. To have multiple people laughing in a tiny room at an open mic versus having nobody laugh in a big room, it's there's like a vacuum that like builds inside of you. It's like a darkness, and that darkness, it just kind of sucks everything about you into it, like your memories, your thoughts, your essence, your soul, basically. It forms, this void forms inside of you, and it just starts taking everything away. Let's watch some more.
Before it's on real bad, I used to date this girl, and one time we were having sex, and she farted on my balls. And it was kind of nice, It was like she was blowing on them for luck. And they say romance is dead.
I didn't realize my voice was cracking that much. That's the panicked shouting of a desperate man. So that was my my 60 seconds.
That's all I got, Tim.
Hell yeah, there you go.
I know for a fact that I bombed. And one of the things about Kill Tony is you get 60 seconds, and after, wow, I'm just realizing how fat I look in that shirt. Look, you can see the rolls right there. Fuck, man. I thought I looked good in that shirt. Maybe I was standing upright and sucking it in the mirror, and I didn't really realize it. I mean, they say the camera adds 10 pounds, but that's just because of like aspect ratios. It can stretch out and stuff. That's the only thing stretching out there is my shirt. Should have wore black. Definitely should have wore black. Okay, so now the interview's about to start.
Delicious.
How are you, buddy?
Way.
How's it going?
I've never
come
been
here,
here
come
before.
here. Relax. Stop talking. Stand right there. Face the audience. Not that close. Not that close. Right there. And you fucking stand right there like a goddamn gentleman. There you go. Yeah, sure, right
That
there.
makes sense.
I like
thought that
that.
was for the stand.
Okay, so there's an X on the stage, like made of electrical tape. And the reason I didn't see it was because when I started my set, I thought I was being a real pro, a real stand-up pro. Because they tell you one of the first things you want to do when you get on stage and you pull your microphone out of the mic stand is you want to put the mic stand behind you. So that's not, just not this awkward thing in front of you. So when I grabbed the mic stand and turned around to put it behind me, I saw that X and I put it right on top of the X. So then I had no idea where to stand for the interview. Wow, it's really all coming back to me.
All right, very good, Matthew. You always say a little bit too much.
I mean, I guess it goes without saying that I was nervous.
You look like if Gollum became an Old Navy model.
If Gollum was an Old Navy model. That one right there, that's my favorite joke of that. It's so painfully accurate. They should have kept Joel Jimenez. I mean, they got a new band, but he was the funniest one in the band.
There.
Yeah, he looks like Ron Howard directed American History X.
I mean, that one wasn't bad. I actually had a Ron Howard joke. Maybe I should have did that. Now we can sit here all day and play that game. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. But I knew the racist jokes were coming because I mean, I do have a shaved head and neck tattoos, so that's prime for the picking. The irony is that I started the whole thing with my I don't want to sound racist, but hot dogs are delicious joke. I guess I kind of set myself up for that.
You look like Louis C.K.K.K.
I liked the Gollum joke better, but I think the crowd liked that one. I know a lot of people remembered it because after the whole show was over, my wife and I were walking out to the car, and a carload of people drove by, and somebody yelled out the window, "Hey, Louis C.K.K.K." I waved. I mean, what are you gonna do?
So what was racist about the hot dog thing? I don't get it.
Yeah. It was just a dumb thing I said to myself, and it made me laugh out loud.
I know. Earlier in this video, I explained the mentality I had when I came up with the hot dog joke. I forgot that I had to explain it on stage. It's one thing to have a very bad joke. It's another to have to explain that joke in front of a room full of people.
I was doing dishes, and I just said it. And I
You were
just started
doing
laughing.
dishes, and you're like, man, I don't want to sound racist, but hot dogs. Yeah.
What led you to that combination of words in your head that you thought was special enough that you had to get on stage and say it into a microphone? That's a tough sell.
What's your dating life like out there?
I'm married.
You're married?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And as soon as I said I'm married, Tony looked down at my hand. I saw him do it. He was looking for a wedding ring, obviously, but I don't wear one. It's just because I used to do like roofing and stuff. And one time, my hand was all sweaty. My ring slipped off, and it like rolled down the roof and into a gutter, and I had to go down and get it. So yeah, I just don't wear it anymore.
How long you been married for?
11 years this month. Actually.
Wow, 11 years this month. She must have put on a lot of weight by now, huh?
Well, when Tony came with the I bet your wife is fat joke, it's like, well, I can't just go along with this and be like, yeah, she's the size of a house or something, because she's like, no, I mean, number one, she's not, but for the sake of comedy, you would think, oh, okay, just roll with the punches. But then it's like, well, I can see her in the crowd, like, looking at me. And I would feel very shitty if I was just, on stage yucking it up, kind of at her expense. It would basically be like throwing her under the bus so that the attention wouldn't be on me and how bad I was sucking earlier. It'd be like to save my own skin. And I didn't want to do that. So I, for some reason, just said, oh, yeah, she lost a lot of weight.
So did she put on a lot of weight in 11 years?
No, actually, she's lost a lot of weight recently.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which inadvertently implies that she was fat. So.
You like them big, huh?
She was.
And also by saying she lost a lot of weight was basically me just overreaching to compliment her. And then when he asked how much, I realized I had to say 5 or 10 pounds. And I was like, okay.
Go ahead.
Just like 5-10 pounds.
Ooh,
she changed her diet and just been trying to eat better and stuff.
That's a lot of weight. Like, how old is she? 5?
I guess I didn't do a lot of winning there.
Yeah. Brian gains and loses 5 to 10 pounds every day.
That's a shit.
It should also be said, I'm not very good at talking to people.
So what's something crazy about you we'd be surprised to know about you or your life or anything?
I used to write a lot of books.
So I'd written these books, and I was like, well, how can I get it out there without doing, like, online stuff? And I was like, well, I guess I could, like, hold, like, a book reading. But then I was like, well, then you got to try to advertise online to try to get people to come to your book reading. And that would be embarrassing if nobody showed up. And then it hit me. I was like, oh, I could just go to an open mic. And I could read passages, like, from my stories. Because people do, like, poetry and stuff. And then I thought, oh, wait. People fucking hate it when people read poetry at an open mic. So they're not gonna regard me reading from my book any different. That's just gonna make people leave. So I was like, well, I was stuck on the open mic thing, and I was like, well, I mean, because that's a good way, because you go to them. You don't have to wait for them to come to you. I was like, well, what the fuck else do you do at an open mic? And I was, oh, I could start doing stand-up comedy.
I don't want to sound racist, but...
Delicious.
It didn't feel real because I was always so used to watching it on the screen. I was always like, watching whatever wannabe stand-up was up there, just shaking my head, going, look at that fucking idiot. And then I realized, oh, man, now I'm the fucking idiot.
Congratulations on being pulled first. Thanks for starting
Thanks
the show.
a lot, guys.
Matthew Nova, ladies and gentlemen.
The interview was better than the stand-up. I gave them, a lot to work with.
Looks like he cooks his hot dogs over a burning cross.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Because I was like, oh, I should make a video on that. That'll be funny. And then I found the episode, and I wanted to make sure that it was the right episode. And I was like, well, I'm like the first one up, so I should be able to find it pretty quick. So I skipped ahead a little bit, and the second I saw myself standing on that stage, I just like felt sweat trickle down my back.
There's a guy eating a hot dog right next to Jeremiah.
That's true.
Right? Look at that racist shit.
But yeah, I'm going to give it... It was an interesting experience, but I'll never do it again because I don't have a humiliation fetish. Out of 10. But it feels really weird trying to be funny while watching this video. Because it's like, here's a video of me trying to be funny and failing. And then I start to think, wait, am I currently making that video?